Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. This is Carol Parisi. Our founder, Jack Roeser, and myself have Claire Van Horn and Carol Davis with us. And we were talking about the IRS and voter integrity and something, a concept, honest elections, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Is it possible?
Well, we're certainly out there trying to make it possible. I do want to just backtrack for 1 second and say we were talking about Catherine Engelbrecht and her issues with the IRS. I think that woman is one of the bravest women in this entire country because she is not only standing up for her rights as an American citizen, but she is also actually going to, she is actually suing the IRS.
Wow.
And I think that's amazing. That's an amazing thing because a lot of us are, worried about what's happening and what could happen if we pursue this. And,
bold.
It's
that's
like,
bold.
Why are we afraid of our own government? What is going on here that we're all afraid of our own government?
That on its face is problematic. If we are fearful of our government, they are there to serve us and work for us. What are we going to do?
Well, Carol and I have both been working a lot for the last couple of years on election integrity. We've worked in various facets, and we've been trying to pull something together in the form of a network of people across the state who would stand up with us and work with us, because this is not, it's a systemic problem, and it's a problem that's getting worse with time, not better. And there's a lot of areas that we need to approach and say, okay, we're tired of being the laughing stock of the country. We're tired of people saying, oh yeah, Chicago, that's where all the dead people go to vote. We're tired of that whole persona of Illinois being a lost cause. And it will, it will be a lost cause unless patriots, unless average American citizens stand up and say, no more. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'll be a poll watcher for 1 day out of my life for the next election, and I'll make sure that at that polling place, at least, that nobody's going to lie, cheat, or steal those votes from me and the people in that community.
That's public service. That's preserving others' rights.
That's being an American citizen. That's being part of the country that serves us so, or has served us so well up to now. So that's one facet of it, is getting people to say, all right, I'm willing to put myself out for 1 day. Look at all the military people who put their lives at risk, their lives and limbs at risk for this country, for us to be able to go out and make our vote something important. And yet, as Americans, it's so hard to get people to say, okay, 1 day out of my life, but I can take myself out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I can go stand there, and I can watch to be sure that that election is going to be safe there.
Can I jump off a little bunny hole here? Do you think, ladies, because I know you talk to voters, do you think average people understand the duty of being a citizen in a constitutional republic is to step up for civil service, such as poll watching and things like that?
Well, they used to teach civics in our schools, but they don't anymore. So young people are growing up with no clue of their place in a free society and their responsibilities in a free society. So it's a travesty. And
that is a travesty. It's a travesty.
Look, it's very simple. It's very simple. The state of Illinois is the most crooked state of the Union of all 50 states, and it's also the most broke. We're at the bottom of the two big standards. Who's been in charge for the last 40 years? The Madigans, the Democrats. Who's been handling the vote in Chicago all these years? It's the Democrats. What's the matter with people? Why do they vote for Democrats? You shouldn't vote for a stinking Democrat in the whole state until they cut out this crap. Why should the Madigans, they stand out? He's been there 42 years on that damn job, and he runs it with an iron hand, and his daughter can't find a crook in the whole state, and they got all of this money, and you try to run and conquer those guys with all they've got and all of their money and the big Democratic Party, and you're standing there in the wind from these people trying to do it, and what do? They chase you around in the courts? I know, because we've tried this stuff too. It's very, very hard. They make up new laws every day, every week, that make it harder for you to register people to even run to get on the ballot, and they'll throw you off the ballot for crazy little rules that they make up for each election.
Wasn't that how
Those
we got
guys are in
Barack
charge
Obama?
of the whole process about who can run for office, especially in Chicago, who can run for office, and what happens to the vote. A study of the last election showed that in 15 different measures of the ways they administer the vote, required by law, they violate them all. This is the biggest crooked mess. The world knows this is a crooked state. The world knows you should never put a casino in the city of Chicago. They're trying to do that. The Democrats are in charge of this crash of, listen, I'm 90 years old. What's that mean? It means I remember when Illinois and Chicago and Cook County were the most dynamic places in business and jobs.
Right.
You couldn't get a job in Chicago. You couldn't get a job anywhere. They said that even in the 1930s. In the 1940s, in the end of that, when I started a company for a rich guy, I had to find out about industry. There wasn't any place in the world that had the jobs and the dynamism. We led in 10 different industries, from steel to candy.
Yep.
We
Yep.
led them all.
Yep.
Candy.
Yeah, candy, right.
Schwinn bicycles used to be here.
All this wonderful stuff, and now everybody's fleeing the state. Who's been in charge? Stinking Democrats. Don't vote for any Democrat for any office.
But Jack, how can we preserve elections? Because even if people don't vote for Democrats, if dead people are voting and the scale is tipped
The Republican
the wrong
Party's
way,
bad enough, and they've run alongside the running dogs along with the Democrats. Way too many. But those have been swept out of the party. Who the hell is left leading the Republican Party? Nobody.
we are going to come right back and hear more when we come back after the break. Stay with us.